Hello, welcome to another episode of the Cyscene podcast. We want to thank LLPO law firm for supporting this episode. And today my guest is a young aspiring artist called Alexa Michael. Hello, Alexa.
Hello.
Welcome. I've got to know you from Fengaros High, obviously, last year. The first Fengaros High that we have organized. And I invited you here because I want to basically hear your story as a 15-year-old aspiring artist, how it came about, and your experience the last year, and also your future plans in a nutshell. But let's dive into it. And I want to ask you first how, because you're a songwriter, right? You write your own songs. Yeah. I wanted to first ask you, how did that come about? What's your background?
So I've always loved music since I've been very young. When I started doing all my singing lessons, I started doing musical theater, all of that. I became more advanced, and then I started lessons such as theory, and that's where I started learning more about writing my own music. Mm-hmm. And basically the first time I actually...
How did you learn that?
Well, it was something that actually really intrigued me. Mm-hmm. At first I was like, oh, theory, like it sounds so boring and everything, but you actually get to explore honestly, it's so amazing how each note is like different duration and like it's just fascinating.
The subtleties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I started experimenting with writing my own songs in 2022, summer kind of, and that's when I wrote my first song, and I presented it at my school's talent show. Mm-hmm. And everyone was really impressed, and I had this teacher of mine who's a big Fengaros Festival fan actually. Mm-hmm. And she told me about the Fengaros High competition, which was happening for the first time. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I sent the audition tape. A few weeks later, you guys called me back, and I came here for a live audition with some of the band. And mm-hmm. we auditioned 2 songs. We obviously got asked a couple of questions, and
how did you feel? What were the feelings behind that, from like the talent show up to hearing about Fengaros, the process of preparing more than one song, writing more songs? Was the motive to write more songs the fact that you had a reason, or like, let's say, a deadline to write more?
I think working under pressure did increase maybe the amount of songs I was writing. Mm-hmm. But I always just like really love writing. So I've always, any chance I get, I write music, I sit down on my piano, I'm going to find new melodies, keep them, go back to them, and yeah.
So what does that mean to you? Is it like a daily practice, a daily process? And like, what value does it have for you? Like, is it something that you have the need to do?
I really do think so. It's like something that genuinely calms me down, and it's my alone time, my space where I can do my own thing and express what I feel. It's just something that I don't think I could live without. Mm-hmm. Like it makes me so happy to sit on the piano and simply just sit and write for hours. Like I could genuinely do that for so long.
Mm-hmm. And then you want to share that with the world. Somehow there's another desire there, right?
I mean, I do write not only from personal experience, but as a person viewing the world in different relationships within people. I think I can relate, or at least understand on a deep level, on what's going on between people and their relationships and my own relationships with people. Mm-hmm. And I can write and express that in my music.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you're saying that writing makes you more observative?
Yeah, I do really think so, because you can understand so much about a person and analyze every little bit of how they are and express that.
that comes with writing, you think?
Yeah.
Because when you sit to write, you actually do more analyzing.
Yeah.
Or like, but it's also poetic, right? Yeah, you also find other ways to say things, maybe.
Yeah, that
You
maybe...
use metaphors.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty... I really do sit and think about lyrics that I write. So it's not like I sit up... I also think a lot about rhyming in my lyrics and like... Because it's something a bit more memorable when you write with rhyme. And it genuinely just like... It makes the song, I feel, more complete when adding like final details like that.
So I want to deconstruct a bit, unpack your process a little bit. So obviously you said all those facts that took place, but obviously you were a sort of songwriter that was alone, so you had to form a band in a way, right? So how did that happen?
So as I said before, the talent show, I did present my song alone, but we were like, I think we should add maybe a little bit of drums, maybe bass to start up first. And that's what we did. That's where I met two of my band members that I have now. And we collaborated. It was a great experience. All of my band members are like great to work with. And I think that's a big reason why we can make, don't know exactly how to say it. Like, it's just, we work well really together. And I think our personalities really like fit well.
So so there wasn't any difficulties you found, but although the other people don't write the music, but they're embellishing the music, is that from things you say, or is that from them, or how does it work for you?
So usually like I'll finish a song and I'll be like, guys, I've finished something. I think maybe it can be really nice. I have maybe suggestions sometimes, or they help out, and it's really interesting to see people's perspectives, because like maybe I would have never thought of doing an idea like that, and I actually turn out to love it. And it's something that I think combines and makes the songs even better than they originally were. And I mean, there were difficulties, and not because of the people. It's just Fengaros High, which started this, was basically the first time I was organized. Like, I never knew what a technical writer was or anything, you know. It was the first time I actually, like, I collected a bunch of people. I had to send reminders for, like, rehearsals. We were, like, there was times where we were rehearsing for, like, 4 or 5 hours together to, like, get the outcome that we have. And it was the first time that even though, like, I've done other things, it's not only about being there on time in rehearsals. It's about, like, managing a bunch of people together, and it's skills that I'm gonna use for sure, like, in the rest of my journey of music.
So it's fair to say that it made you feel more professional.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the sense that also it felt like your art was valued more, because obviously you got chosen to play at the show, and that also made you feel like, okay, somebody cares about my music, somebody wants to listen to it, which is a big boost, isn't it?
It is. And honestly, like, after a couple of performances, especially when you have people come up to you and they're like, I really love this song, or I can't wait for you to release something, it really, like, it motivates you as well to, like, write more, because it's not only about you, it's about how your music makes others feel. And you genuinely do feel appreciated by other people, and they're like, wow, there's someone out there that likes my music and can relate to it, or listens just to chill with my... It doesn't really... As long as it makes people happy with what they listen, I'm really satisfied.
So that's let's say something that you would like to provide with your music. Like, you want to make people happy with your music, but you're also serious about it, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I do write about more serious subjects in terms of, like, I mean, how serious...
What's a serious subject?
I don't know. Like, how serious can a 16, 15-year-old be? I mean, about complications in your life. Like, things might not be great now because of whatever reason you're facing, but they will get better. Something like that. Or, like, how you feel disconnected by people, and that's okay. Or you want to spend, like, your alone time, and, like, different things that maybe are not categorized as normal by society, which honestly should be, because everyone lives and thinks in a different way.
Do you feel that things are shifting in like with your generation? Like, do you feel like, obviously you said something about maybe disconnection, or so, I don't know if you said that word, but
Yeah.
something along those lines. Like, obviously it's not obviously, but do you feel like there's a gap, a little gap between like your generation and the generation before? Do you feel like something is shifting, that you're seeing things in a different way? And what do you have to say about that?
I mean,
I find it fascinating because at your age, when I was your age, I wasn't really analyzing things the way people your age do now. So it's like it's like a deeper kind of view of things, like inside, let's say, inward.
Yeah, I would say, I think this generation, I think we can really understand things on a more emotional level. In terms like you can read, I feel like you can read people really well, and you can tell when something's off, or like someone's like having a difficult time. And I think the most important thing is that this generation is quite mature, and they really express themselves in what they think. It's like they won't hold back. I'm not saying to like be disrespectful in a way that you speak or whatever, but like say what you want to say.
Also respect yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And like be able to share what you feel and what you think. And I think this is something that our generation does not lack in. So I feel like we feel the need, but also we feel comfortable to express ourselves about different either morals or ideologies that people have. And I think it's really great, honestly.
Yeah, me too. Basically, you feel like you do have a voice. Like you can, you feel we all have a voice, but you can use your voice. It feels like you can express yourself. You have somehow the right to express yourself, and that makes you more, well, I guess it opens up that way for you to expression, right? Instead of that gate, let's say, being blocked by, oh, you can't say that, you can't say this, and then you kind of block your emotions as well. That's where it all starts, right?
Yeah, because I think people have become so much more open-minded, like nowadays, like it's okay to say what you feel, and okay, you might be judged by someone, but there's someone who's going to relate with you and find a sense of comfort in what you're saying. And it's people genuinely have different perspectives in how they see things now. So it's really different to, I think, how time used to be. Even especially in Cyprus, like times have changed quite drastically.
Whereas before, you would maybe not say something because you felt you wouldn't belong in that certain group of friends, and with the cool guys, or don't say this because it might sound weird, and all these things. I think these things are kind of clearing up now, and actually it's more cool to actually express yourself. I mean, I'm saying, you can correct me if something sounds off, but it feels like now people are, it's cooler to open up and say what you feel, and that way you can connect in a deeper level with your friends, with your colleagues, instead of trying to be something you're not, because those guys are talking like that and they're doing this thing. So maybe if I do those things and I speak like that, I can be part of that group. But why would I want to be anyway? I'm talking again, bringing examples from the past, but maybe they still exist, of course. But I think that's the difference.
I think stereotypes are also like, they've started to be a bit more, they're kind of broken, and they're not necessarily that thing where you're this person if you do this, and if you're
characterized.
Exactly. So it's more, and what you said about connecting people on a deeper level, like when I write my songs, a friend of mine was listening to the Fengaros High video of Once Were, one of the songs I wrote, and he was like, I relate to that song and I love it so much, and it was something that it made you feel good. And if I felt appreciated. And there's people in my school now, because like they're finding out more about the fact that I sing and that I've been writing my own songs, and like people that you don't expect. Yesterday, like I was actually at the talent show, as I mentioned again, and people I never expected came to support, and it was very nice of them, and I really appreciated it. And these stereotypes of what groups you hang out with and who you're friends with or what you like is genuinely, it doesn't matter anymore.
So music unites.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
In a way, I really think so.
Beautiful. And going to the professional side of things, so from what I understand from your story so far, or at least the story we covered here so far, obviously this for you sounds like something that you want to do in the future, you want to do in your life, you want to offer to the world, let's say. How do you and also maybe your bandmates feel about being professional musicians, songwriters, band, artists, all these things, living in Cyprus, right now, how does that feel?
I mean, I think the music industry is kind of slowly being more discovered and more appreciated by other people. And because we're so dedicated in doing what we love, because even if we're not going to follow this in future careers, at least I don't know if everyone is, we love what we do, and we put in the time, we put in the work, and we genuinely have a good time while doing this. Like it doesn't feel like something that you have to do, or it's an extra qualification or something. It's because you love it. And the first time we performed in Fengaros High, it was a moment where I clicked, and I was like, wow, I'm in front of people presenting my own music, and I love it. And I want to do this for the rest of my life because it makes me happy and it makes other people happy. And I think we have a very good connection between the band, and when we perform, we also show it. Like,
simple as that.
Yeah.
How do you get there, though? That's my question. Like all these beautiful things you just stated, for example, we do it because we love it. We put in the work. We're into it. All these things, we believe in it, right? How do you get to that stage?
I think the individual people
How did you get to that stage?
I mean, first of all, we're all very dedicated and we all love it separately, no matter who you're as personalities and as people. But I think because after starting to rehearse for things and shows and stuff like that, you get to build a connection with people, and you start becoming friends. And then from rehearsals you'll go and like go out for dinner or something like that, and then you start and become closer as people, and you build a bond with them that's not just, oh, they're my band member and I play with them when I have to. They become a person that you can talk to, you're going to send your music to, and you're going to be like...
So the connection is really important, and that makes the whole thing more important, more valid for you. It takes up a more space inside of you.
It really does.
And then how much does, let's say, success come into this? For example, obviously, you have the internet, you have your phones, you have all the information in your palm every day, every second of the day. So you know what's going on abroad. Maybe you know what you aspire to, and you know where you are now. Obviously, you have all this, you're aware of all these things. But still, and you're aware of the fact that, do you feel embraced? Let's say, do you feel like supported right now being in Cyprus? Do you feel there's enough? Does it matter? Or you feel that if I'm doing what I'm doing as good as I can, gradually it will get me to where I'm supposed to go?
Well, I think the music industry in Cyprus, sadly, it's a bit, not exactly neglected, but it's not where it should be today. And I think it can do so much better. And I know that if you put in the hard work, you'll get there. But it is a point where it's lacking. So I think people just don't really maybe not appreciate exactly, but they don't understand the amazing and fascinating actual thing that music is. Like, I don't think they're exposed to enough music as well. Like, maybe more like artistic involvement of, I think, Fengaros High and Fengaros Festival, and like there's other people also trying to like create a music environment in Cyprus, but I don't think it is enough. So obviously in places abroad the situation might be better.
Does that affect you? And if yes, how? Do you think about that? I mean, I know I've seen you around in shows. You try to be around and see what's going on and, you know, take in all the live music that's around. I know you're following a lot of local artists. So I guess you're doing all that. And I think it's great that you're actually, instead of seeing the lack, you're seeing what's actually there.
There's honestly amazing performers in Cyprus that I think they haven't been discovered yet, because maybe the opportunities are not enough. But it does affect me in terms of, I don't think I might stay in Cyprus necessarily to continue my music journey, but I do think that there are good opportunities out there, and we can do even much better, but that still won't stop me from performing my 100% for whoever is there and made the effort to come and watch me and my band or whoever it is. And I don't think that should be affected, but maybe the fact that things could become better.
That's great. So it doesn't get you down,
No.
which is really important,
Yeah.
because it can just basically make you stop, right? Okay, so you play at Fengaros later on. How was life after the festival, after performing there? What did that add to
Honestly,
your...
it was kind of surreal playing. I mean, I just think it's such a cool concept because you meet other people from all over the world, and it's something which promotes different genres and different like music types and things you've never seen before. And I think what I really like about it is that I was surrounded by people, not necessarily musicians only, but people that genuinely appreciate music and are there to explore everything about it. And it was just honestly amazing.
It was another boost, let's say, for you?
I met a lot of cool people. I followed new people. Like I'm looking at their Instagram. I'm looking at new things that they're doing with their music careers, and it's genuinely great connections that you make from stuff like that.
And so from there to now, what have you changed, let's say, in your life, in your routine with music? Like, what were the changes after that?
I think I've started writing music much more than I used to, because obviously also being a teen that's still in high school, you have a lot of things that you have to do. You have your homework and everything, then you have outside of school activities. But I'm still so passionate about it, which doesn't change. And like, I might forget to do my homework, but I'll go and play a little bit of piano.
So you do make the time.
And I think that's really important, because if you don't make the time, then you won't get anywhere. And you have to like really put in effort and the passion that you have, and I think it reflects in your work as I'd say I have evolved in terms of music. I think I've started writing a bit more, not different genre, but like exploring different areas of music that I didn't even know I could write probably until now. But it's really interesting how you evolve as an artist, writing more songs, and how you get better and exploring more different patterns and like.
And in that age, it happens so much faster as well.
Yeah,
right?
It really does.
And it's also because you actually put in the time all the time. It's not like, I mean, for example, at my age, I'm gonna write a song. Maybe I just have this idea and then go do another 5 jobs and then come back to the song maybe 3 months later. I mean, it doesn't really work to actually evolve things quickly, whereas your determination and your routine gets you somewhere, gets you to more results much faster. But I also want to say something before when you were saying about the whole environment with the band and all that. The parents do play a role in there, right?
Of course, I would say
I
that.
mean, we have to give them some
Yes,
credit.
we really do, because obviously, who's taking you to all these rehearsals? I mean, driving here and there to like take people to different places. Always
Also
very
giving you
supportive.
the space.
Yeah, of course. I have like a whole space dedicated for piano, now guitar, because we're trying to broaden our music tastes and
But also the space, meaning like the time and space
yeah.
to, go and sit at your piano and not being like, oh, you need to do something else.
No, yeah, I think it's also like this parents that really support
Your vision.
yeah, they really care, and I think obviously, as we said before, people have become more open-minded in terms of also what you want to do. I mean, there's still people that are always going to tell you, oh, you're going to become a singer and isn't that difficult, and you're probably going to starve and you probably won't have money.
So you have these people around
Yeah,
you.
you obviously do have negative opinions circulating you, but as long as you have the important people close to you which will support you, I think if you have these people that matter to you, it won't affect people outside which will say things like, oh, you won't make it, or it's too difficult to do. And
from your perspective, you see that happening though to other people, right?
yeah, I think there's a lot of actually, as much as sad as it is, there is discouraging people out there who will be like, oh, don't get too excited, you're too young, you never know what's going to happen.
But you also see your colleagues, let's say, other kids at school who are maybe equally talented or equally driven, but don't have the support from home.
I do think so, and it's kind of sad because I have people in my school that are amazing and talented, and I just think they don't have that encouragement, maybe not even by their parents, which is very important, but even by their teachers and people who generally keep them back, and they don't encourage them to, you know what, at the end of the day, you'll do it. If you fail, it's a learning experience.
Yes.
And then next time you'll do better, or you'll try for something different.
And you don't have to be a musician or a songwriter or anything, any of these things, but at least have the space to explore it.
Exactly.
And see if it's for you and if it serves your expression, right?
Yeah, I mean, no one said you have to be a performer. If it makes you happy to be a music professor or whatever it is that makes you happy, I mean, go ahead and do it. It's honestly just follow that goal that you have. That's basically, I think that's the most important thing as well to me as a young artist, let's say. I do have a goal. Now, is it something specific that I'm like, oh, I'm going to become famous? No. It's the fact that I want to become better. I want to write more songs. And I set myself small goals, such as releasing my first single, which is happening soon. And then performing at more places. Not necessarily big venues, start with small venues.
But that's your practice, isn't it?
And I think it really does take you somewhere. As long as you put your mind to it and you dedicate the time and effort that you want, you'll do it.
So how many years do you have left for school now?
So with this year, 4.
It's a long time.
It is
You can
a long
write a
time.
lot of songs in 4
Yeah.
years.
I mean, I do say it's a long time, but this year already, like,
It's already gone.
it's moving so quickly, and it's amazing to me.
Could it be maybe that because you're much more energized and happier for doing this with music and all that?
I think so. Like, I would say that maybe last year was one of the best years of my life. Like, no exaggeration. Like, I had never done this before. And even though I had been doing things with music and I'd played my piano, I'd do my musicals and everything and the talent shows, it was such a different experience to what I had done until now. And I genuinely discovered, and I'm like, wow, I want to do this. and I'm dedicated and I'll put in the work for everything. And
So what are your next goals?
next goals,
Releasing the single?
yeah, releasing the single. I do want to start playing with my band at different places and obviously like explore different music as well.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh wow. Probably at university.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to go and collect the most knowledge I can. That doesn't necessarily mean that university is right for everyone or that you have to do it. I just think I'd benefit personally from it. And I want to keep learning as much as I can and improving myself.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I think all the things that you're saying are really helpful, even for someone my age. So it's good to hear these things. It's good to, because you're doing this with yourself as well. You're telling yourself these things. You're telling yourself, my goals, my routine, my dedication, my love for what I do, my, keeping this thing, like feeding this machine that is, it's producing, art and work and expression. So I think it's great to mention all these things. Do you have to say?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention something. I was just going to say that though, even though this is obviously amazing, there are difficulties in doing it. I'm not trying to just romanticize and be like, oh, it's so easy and it's great. There's no difficulties in it. There's days where I have absolutely no inspiration. Like I might sit on the piano and sit and stare at it for an hour and come up with absolutely nothing. There's days where I'll sit there for like 5 hours and maybe finish 3 songs. But I genuinely think it's about the inspiration you have and the moment where you're going to be like, ooh, I love this melody. Let me record it. And it's very important, I think, for me. I always record little melodies that I have. I might be blow drying my hair. I might be brushing my teeth. I'll if I have something in my mind and it's so important, I'll go and record it. And I'll go back to it. Maybe I won't have anything that day, but then the next day I'll go revisit it. And I have like millions of recordings that I haven't finished, but they're there and they're waiting to be explored.
Yeah, it's like you're opening up a little door sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't open. Some other times it opens, and then these things come pouring in, the melodies, the ideas. But again, if you're not even thinking about it, if you're not even thinking about, oh, maybe I could sit down, maybe I could open the door, maybe I can be receptive to ideas, it won't happen, right? Is there anything else you want to share before we kind of wrap it up?
I'm just going to say that basically kind of a piece of advice to like keep going. I know there's going to be days that you might not have any songs, but there's maybe a day where you'll write 3 songs or 5, or it might be difficult. You might not have support, but at the end of the day, if you have a goal and you set yourself to do it with your hard work and dedication, you will.
Thank you, Alex. And also something for the kids out there who want to apply for Fengaros High.
Do it.
That's all.
Great experience. I mean, honestly, it all started from Fengaros High. It was the moment I realized I'm in front of people performing my own music, as I said, and I love it. It's something that I had never felt before. And after you get to perform at Fengaros Festival and record music, which was unreal, and you guys were amazing to work with, and it was...
You were also amazing to work with.
Thank you. But, I mean, it was just such a surreal experience, the whole thing, from Fengaros High to Fengaros Festival to recording to continuing to write music, and I totally encourage anyone to do it.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you for your time and for coming here to talk to me. I wish you all the best for your career. I'm very excited about it, and I'm very happy that I see that in a way you have chosen to do this, and I think you can do it. So I'm going to say the same thing to you. Keep going.
Thank you so much for having me. And we'll see where the journey takes us.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.